Hi, ArcFieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday morning, January 23rd. We have a couple different systems to talk about this morning. First of all, there's a low pressure area situated right now off the New England coastline, moving to the north and east. Some rainfall occurring across eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, all the way down in the northeastern part of Maryland. Some of that rain will change over to snow over the next few hours. Expect to see some snowflakes mixing in across eastern Pennsylvania, interior New Jersey, all the way up to the New York City metro region. Winds will kick up this afternoon. And then we have another storm system on Wednesday. It looks like that could produce significant snow across the Midwest and even some accumulating snow in parts of the Mid-Atlantic region, primarily to the north of the Mason-Dixon line, before an ultimate changeover to plain rain, and we'll talk about that over the next several minutes. First of all, in the longer term, I wanted to start off here with the ensemble run from the European model from yesterday, Sunday. We're looking at 5-day rolling mean temperature anomalies at the 850 millibar level, again, using the ensemble version of the European model from Sunday. There's no doubt there's some cold air on its way to Canada and into the northern U.S. Here we see going from 5 days from now all the way into the early part of February. And again, these are rolling 5-day means. And that's pretty impressive cold air when you're looking at colder than normal temperatures like that this time of the year, when climatologically speaking, we're pretty much at the coldest time of the year. So this is impressive cold. It spills on all the way into the Mid-Atlantic region, the Northeast U.S. Later next week. So we certainly have some cold weather coming to much of the northern part of the nation over the next couple of weeks. Well, now let's focus in on the short term. Again, we have one storm system right now located not far off of Cape Cod here over the southern part of New England and moving to the north and east. A little bit of colder air is wrapping around on its backside. There'll be a noticeable uptick in winds later on today across the D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor, with northwesterly winds developing on the backside of this low. But for right now, still some lingering rain showers all the way down to the D.C. metro region. This, by the way, is a radar loop from WSI's and telecast.com. Rain into southeastern Pennsylvania, but notice the advance of the snow here as represented by the blue, and I do believe there'll be snowflakes mixing in, maybe a complete changeover to snow all the way down to the Philly metro region, interior New Jersey, New York City, later on this morning into the midday and early afternoon hours, maybe even a dusting on some grassy surfaces. Could be some flakes also mixing in down across northeastern part of Maryland. Again, as this low pulls away, the winds will increase in intensity later on today, gusting to 30 or 35 miles per hour or so in that I-95 corridor region of the Mid-Atlantic region. Well, now let's take a look at last night's NAM model run. This is the 0Z model run from Sunday evening, and here we have vorticity field here. And current situation has a vorticity max over Ohio, surface low over southeastern part of New England, pulling off to the north and east. And here is the next system of interest here. It's a deep upper level low now moving through Arizona. We'll keep on pushing forward here, and it continues to dive to the south and then works its way into the great state of Texas over the next 24 hours or so, and there will be a surface low pressure area developing over Texas on Tuesday. And when this system starts to intensify on Tuesday, it'll really draw in a lot of moisture off the Gulf of Mexico, and all that moisture, the large moisture field, will then take a turn to the north and east and move into colder air over the Midwest and Mid-Atlantic and Northeast U.S. on Wednesday. Let's keep moving forward here. And here we go. It's takes a move to the north and east. This is now Wednesday morning. This will certainly become a decent snowstorm for much of the Midwest on Wednesday. This kind of a track is not conducive to a major snowstorm by any means in the I-95 corridor region. It's the primary surface low will cut up well to the north and west. However, we'll see in a moment here, there will be enough cold air in place thanks to a large, strong, high pressure system over southeastern Canada. That some accumulating snow at the onset is likely, I believe, across the much of Pennsylvania into New Jersey, New York City, and certainly accumulating snow from this midweek storm is expected in the interior section of the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast U.S. Let's keep moving forward. There will be a second system developing along the Mid-Atlantic coastline, but it really gets intense too far to the north and east to end up with a significant snowfall in that D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City corridor. Having said that, I do believe a couple inches of snow is possible, let's say down to the Philadelphia metro region at the onset of this system on Wednesday, and up across New Jersey into New York City. Lesser amounts, but still could be a coating or so in the northern and western suburbs of D.C. Let's move all the way out to Thursday, and here we are by Thursday morning. This next system starts to pull away to the north and east. Well, let's now focus in on the surface forecast maps from the Zero-Z NAM model run. Again, low pressure now centered just near Cape Cod, pulling off to the north and east. And look at this band of accumulating snow. It's pretty impressive across the interior sections of New England, really all the way down to the Maine coastline. And again, there's some rain this morning in D.C., Wilmington, Philadelphia, Baltimore, New York City. But certainly there can be a mixing in or a changeover of snow over the next several hours in much of eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York City. Let's move forward here, and we'll see that here. Development of some snow in the eastern half of Pennsylvania, maybe even dusting or so on the wet surfaces right now. And again, this is from this initial storm system. Then later on today, the winds will start to really become noticeable in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, out of the northwest as this intensifying storm system moves away and high pressure starts to move in. This pressure gradient will allow for some wind gusts up to 35, even 40 miles per hour out of the northwest later today. Then we'll kind of quickly move to the next system on Wednesday. But a key player here I want to point out, I talked about this last week. One of the features I always like to look for in terms of the possibility of snow in the I-95 corridor region is high pressure over southeastern Canada. Most of the models were not showing this last week. However, I thought there was a chance because we have a little cold front system passing through here, the southeastern part of Canada during the day on Tuesday. And sure enough, that high pressure does start to form across southeastern Canada, the Hudson Bay region. This is the Tuesday evening forecast map. Again, strong high pressure here, and that will help to anchor a cold air mass, at least at the onset of this event coming on Wednesday, allowing for accumulating snow in certainly the northern half of the Mid-Atlantic region, with the surface low cutting up the primary initial surface low cutting up to the north and west of I-95. There will be a changeover to plain rain for sure in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City. But that, again, that key player right here, that high, is in place here early Wednesday morning. And here comes all that moisture. We talked about an influx of moisture off the Gulf. This system will become quite a snow producer across the Midwest, much of the Midwest. Well, several inches of snow late Tuesday night and Wednesday. And then the moisture field starts to move into the Mid-Atlantic region. Again, primarily north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. I expect to see some accumulating snow, maybe a couple inches in the suburbs of Philadelphia, for example, across interior northwest New Jersey and even New York City, a couple of inches. Maybe some flakes of snow or a bit of freezing rain or sleet in the northern western suburbs of D.C. as well on Wednesday. Ultimately, it changes over to plain rain in that D.C., Philadelphia, New York City corridor by Wednesday evening into the overnight hours. Maybe even some heavy rain out of this late Wednesday night time frame in places that can receive some accumulating snow earlier in the day on Wednesday. Then we get into the morning on Thursday. That next storm system continues to produce significant snow across northern New England, and it starts to pull away to the north and east. We have another day with strong winds coming to the mid-Atlantic region on Thursday on the backside of that midweek storm system, and cold air arrives by the end of the work week. And then we saw at the initial portion of this video that certainly some cold air shots coming next week into the first week of February that will originate over Canada and then drop into the northern U.S. So a lot going on, a very active weather pattern. For ArcFieldWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.